Ryan, you're involved in many activities outside of football and school. How do you find your way into so many different things?
Oh man, that's a good question. Sometimes, sometimes I do get caught. I think I definitely don't know how to say no. I know that because I know whenever I get asked something, I definitely want to help out. But I think it's just that I care a lot about individuals, and I love helping out people. And I know like all these groups, whether it be like CEC or the ROTC club and stuff like that, I know that it's all gonna benefit people, so I like that. But it also gets me in trouble sometimes because I know some nights I don't get much sleep. But it's definitely just I like being around the team environment and being around people that are working towards a bigger purpose, I guess.
Talk a little bit about the things that you're involved in, whether currently or over the last couple of years. Obviously, football, ROTC, variety of community service projects.
The 12th man has been a big thing. It takes a lot more time than you think because you got to coordinate with like hospitals or school teachers, and then getting Walmart uptown actually donates the footballs, and the bookstore here on campus actually donates the shirts. So a lot of coordinating there and making sure the parents know where the parking lot's at and stuff like that. CEC is a club here on campus where you dance with kids with disabilities, and that's usually a good time. I mentor some with Dr. Robin's Hunt program here. If someone needs help with math, I usually help out there. I've done the unified track. That was a lot of fun. Man, I'm trying to think what else there is. Giving food to homeless up in Erie. Trying to think what else. I don't even know. Whenever I wrote down the one thing one time, I really had to dig deep because it's not like I sit there and I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm doing this. I just do it, and then I don't really remember it. I just do it and then go on to the next thing.
How did the 12th man evolve? What got that started?
So I remember over summer I was working with a kid, had Down syndrome, very motivational kid, and I remember my job was to take him to the weight room and work on his social skills. So I'd take him to the weight room, and we'd be there, and he'd be working out, and his mom was like, make sure he's doing the exercises right. So I would sit there and watch him and make sure he's doing them right. And then he'd be like, all right, your turn. And I didn't expect to lift whenever I went. But it turns out that he put me on the machine, and the whole time I was going, like if we did 15, he'd be like, 1, 2, and then he'd be like so motivated doing it, and then he'd be like, 5 more, 3 more, 2 more. So he'd get really motivated, and like just his outlook on life versus some of the outlooks like some of the players have on the team, I just knew that it'd be so beneficial to bring to the team. And I don't know how it really came about. I definitely know that there's a God, and I know that He has used me, and that He is the one that gets the glory, because I know that before I met Jesus, I wasn't the same man at all. But yeah, it was really cool to just see how it's taken off, I guess. I never expected it to do what it's done now and to have the impact on the players that it had.
I was just going to ask you, and obviously you didn't do it to impact the players, but what has this meant to the football team?
I think that it's really given them a different outlook, because not everybody gets the ability or the gift to play college football. Not everyone gets the ability to walk. I mean, we had a 12th man who has brittle bone disease. He's broken his bones like 300 times, and his outlook on life is just the happiest kid I've ever met. So I think it really just brings them and makes them more aware, because I think some people in today's society will see those individuals and not want to go near them because they don't know how to interact. But by having this, it allows them to get that interaction, to break the barriers of that. And it's been amazing to see. Like, I'll still see, because one of the 12th men goes here on campus. His name's Jordy Nolan, and they'll go up to him, and he's like friends with most of the football players now. So it really just breaks the barriers, and it's cool to see how it can really impact both sides. Because the 12th man to them is like the world, but to our football team, I mean, they love hearing who the 12th man is, and they'll love meeting them on Friday nights before the game.
How do you find time for football?
Oh man, that's a good question. Yeah, this semester I've definitely been swamped because with ROTC right now I'm CO, so company commander, which is in charge of all the cadets, making sure all the information's put out. We have a fall training that I got to make sure we know how to go from point A to point B. Today I have to brief an op order. So it's been really busy. I find myself not getting as much sleep as I want this semester, but really it's just no sleep. You really got to be organized. I don't have internet at my house. I don't have a TV at my house. I'm usually never home. My roommate, I never see him. I feel bad because I'm there in the morning and then I get in at about 10 or 11, and I'm usually getting up around 4:35. So every day is just one task after another.
Talk about your trip to the Dominican Republic last year.
Yeah, so the trip was pretty crazy. Definitely found that I was distant from God a lot more than I thought I was. Definitely really changed my perspective on life as well. You see kids down there that, I mean, they don't have clothes, they don't have food, and they're just so happy. And it's cool to see how their faith is in Jesus Christ and their happiness comes from that. And it's just amazing to see like what the Lord can do with the people that go down and the people that come back. They're totally transformed. But it's just, I mean, it's totally an outlook on life because down there, I mean, they have nothing, but they're so happy. And up here, you see people like trying to save up money for the newest car. They don't even have cars down there. No one really drives. Education, like I definitely take it more serious now because I know it's a gift. They don't have education. Well, they do, but like they're trying to get to the U.S. Like this one kid was a basketball player, and his main goal is to get to the U.S. to get an education to play basketball. Where here, I mean, I'm just going through the day. I'm like, oh, I might go play college football. Where there, it's like their dream. So it's just crazy that hey, to see a different side of the world and to see how it's really a gift to be able to be here. And just the people down there are so loving. I've never been in such a loving community, and it's definitely changed my outlook on life for sure, definitely.
What'd you do while you were down there?
So we were building a house for the deaf, or a school for the deaf, which was really cool. So we moved a lot of brick, and they don't have machines down there, so you get these big long lines of people, and everyone just tosses a brick and hands it to the next person, So that was really cool. And we would go out in the communities, and I mean, we drive in these like trucks, so you're just holding on in the back, going for like 2 hours because the villages are so far out. It's like miles and miles, but the land down there is so beautiful. And it was over winter break, so up here it was cold, down there it was nice and warm, which was pretty cool. But we'd go out there, give food, dance, and play with the kids. I mean, they love playing tag. I had like 20 kids jumping on me at one time, and it was just really cool to see their happiness. But another thing that you could do is evangelism, share the gospel with the people, which is really cool because that not only impacts them, but the families to come. And then we did worship every morning. We heard a message every morning. Trying to think what else, really. I know, like, the showers, so down there they're limited on water, and you have to turn the water on, get wet, then bathe yourself, turn the water off, bathe yourself, and then turn it on, rinse off. So we're, like, limited on water, and the water's freezing cold. But I would take those showers over being up here any day, definitely.
Were any of the areas that were impacted by the recent storms down there?
I actually am Facebook friends with a kid from the DR, and from my understanding that they only had a little bit of flooding. It wasn't like as bad because they're more inland. But yeah, from my understanding, no.
What gives you the most enjoyment?
That's a good question. There's a lot. Definitely Jesus. I go back to him a lot because I know that he is a God of love, and that at the end of the day, whenever I can get into his word and just get alone, I know that I feel welcome, I feel loved, I feel like I have purpose. And it's just cool to see, like, because before I didn't know God at all. And it's just cool to see how he can do that and how he can use you. And just to see his creation is really cool, to see how he works and how he uses people and how people know their purpose and their mission and just community. But I also love interacting with the men on the football team because everyone comes from a different background, and I was raised on a farm. Where I was raised at really wasn't, I had maybe 2 black kids go to my school, and it's cool now because like Sim's on the football team, DeAndre, we all come from different backgrounds, but it's amazing to see that the game of football can bring everyone together, and it's cool to see how, hey, I grew up in the country, he grew up down in the Whippeal area, and 2 different backgrounds, but great friends, and that's number one because of God, because they all have a relationship with God, and how God creates the communities to be one, and it's cool just to share off of one another. I mean, I know that I've learned dance moves that I never thought I would have learned. I've learned slang that I never thought I would have learned. And it's just cool to see that because in today's society, especially with everything going on, you don't see that. So it's really cool to see how we can break those barriers and how football can bring the community together and people together from different backgrounds.
You mentioned before and then finding God.
Yeah.
What brought you to that point?
I definitely was just so out of high school, involved in a lot of parties, chased a lot of girls. Just really didn't have a purpose in life, to be honest. Like, I was just mainly focused on fame and money. And whenever I was looking to go to school, I remember the first thing I was looking for was most money. So I typed that into Google, and I came up with engineering, and I went to Geneva for engineering, and found out real quickly I didn't like that. So I was worried about money, of course, and I wanted to. Everyone kept telling me to go for education, and I was like, I don't know. And I Googled the money amount, and they don't make a lot of money, and that's really when I was like, all right. But down there at Geneva, I started finding out more about God and who He is, and like the main thing I realized was like I am here for a calling and a purpose, and what that money amount really doesn't matter, because I know that God will always provide. He's the one that fulfills me and gives me happiness. I know that if I have Jesus, then I could make $10 or $1,000, and I'd be happy either way, because I know my foundation is on Christ, and that's a solid foundation where money comes and goes, where God will always be there. So I guess it just came to like, hey, like, come to the end of yourself, start taking up your cross, start following God and His purpose, and like, it's amazing to see what He's done, and that's why I say like this is all Him, because before I wasn't a man that was very giving. I was giving, but I remember, man, I'd just be like, I'd be pretty selfish, to be honest. So it's really cool to see how He can transform you, and I mean, that's why, like, there's some days I'll be at church and, like, I'll just get emotional because, like, I've known what He's done in my life, and I know that He's the one that's done it in me. And I've heard people come up and tell me, like, hey, you're a changed man. And it's really humbling just because it's, like, it's not me. And it's the people that have poured into me. I have a great support system, my family. I love my family. The advisors here, my advisor, Robin Hunt, Aunt Jen, Terry White, Todd, you guys, it's like this small Edinboro University is such a loving campus, and like people really don't get that other places. I feel like this place is really special for sure.
Talk about being selected to the All-State AFCA Good Works team.
Oh man, that was I cried whenever I found out. It was once again, it goes back to like, it's not me, and it's crazy to see what God can do in your life, because I know that at the end of the day, it wasn't me. But it's just a humbling experience, and I really want people to know like that it's not just one person. I think whenever someone gets an award, whenever I see an award, I see like 100 people, because I see all the people that poured into that person should get the award. So like if you could cut it up into pieces and give it to everyone, because whenever someone gets an award, it's not just because of one person, it's not because of them. So I mean, It's humbling. It's an honor. Definitely an honor. But sometimes, like, I just feel like, I don't know. I was never a big fan of awards because in high school, I think I did awards for a different reason. Because I remember, like, in high school, I'd be like, I want this award, I want this award. And, like, now I'm just like, I hate awards because of how I acted back in the day, if that makes sense. But, I mean, I got an award. I don't know. I don't want to be rude to the AFCA and be like, oh, I got an award, whatever, but I also don't want it to be about that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just sort of, like, do things, and if that comes, then good, but if it doesn't, I'm still going to do the same thing, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But
What's it like to have Tim Tebow talk about you?
oh, man, he's a role model for sure. I've read his book. He's a follower of God, and it's cool to see how he lives his faith in football, and that was just really humbling. He's a great guy, and when you look at him, you see a bunch of attributes of serving people, and he does the same thing. I mean, he knows who it is, and that's cool to see a brother in Christ that's out there serving people, and how God used his platform for him to share the gospel. But yeah, that was really humbling. I hope I get to meet him.
When will you graduate, and what's your major in?
So I'll graduate not this year, next year. So I don't know, what is that? About a year and a half. I'll graduate. Major is middle level math and special ed with a minor in adaptive leadership and military science. So yeah, I guess.
When you get done, when you graduate, where does all that take you? What's next for Ryan Stratton?
I plan on going active duty in the military. I definitely love the team atmosphere. I love how the military, I mean, it's cool to see how they bring people from different cultures, again, to bring towards like a greater mission. So I went to basic camp this summer, and I mean, I had people from everywhere, black, white, country, city, different, everywhere. I mean, it's just like a melting pot of everything. And that's really cool because it just brings people from all different backgrounds, and it makes everyone stronger, because the more you know about everything, I feel like the stronger you are. And I want to branch aviation, so probably 8 years active duty. Not really sure yet, depending on where the Lord will take me, but definitely would like to fly. But if that doesn't happen, then I know that, hey, God's in control. So basically how it goes is there's an OML list, and you place your top 3 that you want, and then depending on how you do on all these categories, like a PT test, your rank in your class, like all this stuff adds up to a points, and it blurs out a number. And that's compared across with all the cadets in the U.S. And then like the highest get their top branch. So I'm hoping to branch aviation, definitely. I think it'd be cool to do like 9-line medevac, Blackhawks. It'd be a way to serve. But I think that the military is a great place to share the gospel. I think that it's just a cool opportunity to travel and to see God's creation. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I think
Go ahead.
it'd be cool too, because like with the flight, being able to like work into possibly like doing, I don't know what I want to do after. I really haven't thought that far, like after the military, but I think it'd be cool to do some type of non-profit or some type of charity where flying kids with disabilities, or whether it be cancer patients, because I don't know, I think it's pretty sweet to fly. So I know that it would give them a rush, but yeah, it would definitely be cool to work towards that somehow, some way. But yeah, that's all.
Alrighty, sir. That's it.